Hello, my friends! Welcome to the ThePCelitist, a channel dedicated to video game commentary and discussion, and some reviews, but it's always from the PC perspective, the greatest platform on which to play games. My name is Woodsie.
My name is Shepard.
And today we're asking a question that basically is to the community of gamers. Do you have an honor code when we're keeping it in the realm of first-person shooters this time?
We'll start there. It can extend to other genres, but what we mean, I guess for today, is an honor code when playing against other human players.
Right.
You can have an honor code when you play a single-player campaign in terms of many different factors, but today we're focusing on, do you have this system of integrity, do you have an honor code when you play against other players? And we're going to start in the first-person shooter genre, because I think that's where you divide the men from the boys from the fanboys.
It happened to me earlier today. I discovered this. I was playing Bad Company 2, and I kept getting literally sniped with the 870 combat rifle.
McPwned, I think, is...
Yeah. The 870 shotgun with the Sabot round, or whatever it's called.
Yeah, the extended range, more tightly cropped buckshot.
But I was literally being sniped from many, many, many yards away. And the problem with that is that I started using it. I checked it out. I'm like, why is this thing so easy to kill people? And it's because you don't have to iron sight. And
yeah, in hardcore mode, none of the weapons have iron sights, but crosshairs.
None of the weapons have crosshairs, but this one does. And it's a tight cross, so you could snipe people from anywhere, essentially. Not in my book fair, and therefore
it's a shotgun.
It's a shotgun. I shouldn't be able to snipe people.
Nope.
So I decide. My roommate, said, "Well, just use it. It's easy." And I just said, "No, I'm not going to use it."
That tells you right there what kind of gamer he is.
So I was like, "That's dumb," and I just switched to a new weapon because I don't like it.
Yeah, so basically where we're going with this, and you can kind of already get a sense, is in first-person shooters, when you find... Here's how I lay it out, and I think you could easily make the case for both sides of this. You find a weapon imbalance, or a tactic imbalance, but specifically a weapon imbalance. A certain weapon's overpowered, or it has some way for you to gain an unfair advantage, if you want to use that term. Is it the fault of developers? It's not the gamer's fault, it's the developer's fault for not fixing this balance issue, so I should be able to use it. They put it in the game. Is that how you explain, or you justify using a certain weapon like that? Or are you the type who says, just because the developers haven't addressed this issue, or just because they don't care, or whatever reason, just because it's in the game doesn't mean you have to use it? I, for one, Shepard,
Right.
I have an honor code. This isn't to say that I'm holier than thou and I have more integrity than any of you. No, I don't like playing games where I know I'm taking advantage of some kind of exploit. And some of you may say, great, grand, and wonderful, I'll just keep killing you.
Which happens all the time.
It doesn't.
Oh, okay.
All the time.
Right.
I, for one, get joy out of playing 20 minutes of close quarters combat, running around, shooting people, getting killed, what have you. I also get a great amount of joy, if not more, by knowing that there's some guy who's cheesing in some way, who's exploiting, be it camping, what have you. I find joy in taking time out of my busy-ass combat schedule to hunt him down and kill him, usually repeatedly.
Right.
Because for that brief moment, what I'm saying is, hey, that little tactic you're using, fuck you.
Right.
That I get joy out of that.
Right. Well, I mean, there's other issues that, have gone through the years people would exploit. Bunny hopping, dolphin diving.
Mm-hmm.
It's not so much that it's an exploit. That's not the right word for it. It's just a gameplay style where all I want to do is win, and I'll use any means in the book to do it, and that definitely has a place. It's not a bad thing, but I'm just kind of curious, because I think everyone has an honor code, in a sense. Like, not everyone goes out and downloads cheats for games.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah, that's the extremes of the honor code. Do you mod? Do you cheat blatantly? Do you wall hack?
Right.
And there are some people who have no qualms, even if what they do is they start up the game and they don't even touch their keyboard and mouse, where they just watch their first person go around and kill people.
Right.
Explain to me how that's fun. Please. But those are the outliers. We're not really concerned with them because they're all going to hell anyway.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm just saying that there is a limit where everyone says, "Oh, I wouldn't do that."
Yeah, everyone has that limit. But for example, for me, Counter-Strike, when people start circle strafing, that to me was my first exposure with having this visceral reaction of, I wish I could reach through the monitor and punch that asshole in the face. And yeah, it's just a video game, yeah. But we're PC gamers. This is a game for the channel for hobbyist gamers. We're getting past the whole, this is just video games, chill out.
Right.
We love video games, so let's just get beyond that and not kid
Which
ourselves.
is one of my pet peeves in a forum when people are having a debate. And even if it's a good debate, there's no just, people just making fun of each other. It's a literal heated debate, and that's cool. I like that. And some guy will always jump in and goes, guys, it's just a game.
Just a game.
Just calm down. We're just here to have fun.
Just here to have fun. No, we're not.
Yes, we are here to have fun.
Yes.
But part of the fun is dissecting these issues and discussing it and having debate about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and not just staying mad at some guy who uses these tactics, but figuring out, why are you mad? What is it about what's happening that makes you mad? Do you feel like you're playing it above board and he's not?
Right.
Like, you have to ask yourself these questions, and that's why we wanted to do a video about this. We want to know what the rest of the people in the community think. Do you think that there is this kind of unwritten, unstated, or not so unstated honor code? Because you see it. Even though it may not be codified anywhere, these are the rules of first-person shooters. You can tell right away when a server turns against a guy for doing something. Some servers, it's just, hey man, it's a game, and if whatever you use to beat me, that's fine. But usually you'll hop into a server, even if there are no server rules or anything like that, and we'll talk about server rules and things like that in a later video. But people will turn. They'll unanimously say, that's not okay.
Yeah.
For example, no noob tubing.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Well, people call it a noob tube, and I somewhat agree, only that in bad company, that if you're going to give a class a grenade launcher as powerful as it was, don't give them the ammo pack too.
Yeah.
Don't give them easy means to just refill the grenade.
For our purposes, at least for me, and I'll let Woodsie kind of modify his definition if he disagrees. To me, a weapon or cheesing is, the way I define it, is it's a tactic you're using, a weapon you're using where it doesn't really require skill, any greater amount of skill than anyone else has in order to accomplish it. So if you're using the 870 combat shotgun, where all you have to do is line up a tight cross on some guy 150 yards away, anyone can do that. Like in Halo 2, I'm not admitting to playing console games. I'm just saying,
yes,
in Halo 2, the noob combo, alien gun in one hand, pistol in the other, it's unleveling the playing field by saying, I don't need a lot of skill to do what I'm doing. Even if you're good at doing that.
Right.
The crux of what you're doing is not skill-based. If a guy snipes me while I'm running, and I know it was a long shot, I'll type, great shot.
Right.
Because I know. I'm not going to give any respect to someone who just cheeses the shit out of me all day. Can't stand it.
I have something of a personal story when it comes to cheesing a system, and this is, let's see how quickly I can explain this for people who haven't played Tribes, the original game. Tribes had a weapon called a mortar, which was extremely long range, and it had these things called beacons that barely anyone in the game used. Okay? Besides the main bases, there was a mid tower that a lot of people congregated at. A lot of enemies, the enemy mid tower was a lot of combat over there. I would take the beacon, place it underneath the tower so I knew the exact range, and when you pulled out your mortar, you had a perfect arc of where to land. And I put the beacon in a place to where the mortar would essentially land in the doorway of the tower, and anyone inside would die. Okay? So I would stay back at base, essentially, launching mortars. Of course, I had to sneak over there, place the beacon, and come back and turn to the mortar.
Yeah.
But I can't tell you how quickly the server turned against me. Because A, they couldn't find the beacon, and they just hated my guts because I was killing many people without any work. Now, I kind of outsmarted them because
real men kill you up close. Don't you know that, Woodsie?
But it's part of the game. I felt I was outsmarting everyone, and your example is a little different because it doesn't take anyone to outsmart you. I mean, does it? I mean, that's just
based on what you just told me, I wouldn't define that as cheesing or violating my honor code because you did the work to sneak in and place that. If you could just launch, like for example, the tac launcher. If you had anything similar to that, where you could just lob bombs. Like there was a weapon in a game called Darkest of Days. You basically had a cluster bomb launcher. You shoot it up in the air and then point a laser to where you want the cluster bombs to land. That, to me, is a cheese weapon if they offered that in some sort of MMO capacity. It's... I don't want to go back to the 870 shotgun, but there are weapons throughout multiple games where it's super overpowered. And I'm not saying I reject the argument of it's in the game, the developers put it there, I'm going to use it. I understand that, and I concede that. That's fine. My point is, I choose not to do those things.
Right.
I'm not saying, and yeah, it's your choice, and that's the whole thing. It may be your choice to play the game that way. However, it's my choice to do whatever I can to keep killing you.
Right.
And the way I do that is with some people, I just flat out play better than them and hunt them down and make their life a living hell. But that doesn't always happen. Sometimes these guys are good.
Right.
And like when I try to sneak up on them, they're quick to kill me. They may be good players in their own right. They just happen to be choosing to use a particular tactic. I don't agree with it, and I get pleasure out of not punishing, because that implies that I'm judge, jury, executioner.
Right.
I get pleasure out of at least disrupting what they're trying to do.
Right.
Beyond just trying to, I'm not going to sabotage my team winning the game or my record for killing them. I'm not going to C4 myself and go blow them up.
It's basically a mentality of I'm going to overcome these circumstances.
Yeah.
And I'm going to... That's how I feel when I play Battlefield games, and not everyone I play with feels that way. When we get pigeonholed into our base, I want to figure out a way out.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get frustrated over the fact that everyone's just concentrating fire on our base and we're going to die. Like, I'm going to get out of here, and I'm going to start having my squad spawn on me, and I'm going to create a situation where we can come back. There has to be something said, though, for people who just look for any way to have an advantage. They end up balancing the game because that calls attention to it.
Yeah.
So
that's a good point.
Without having those people who are just, I'm going to win no matter what. Reaper rushing in StarCraft 2 when it first came out, there was a huge error there in balancing where Terran versus Protoss, you could Reaper rush them, and there was almost nothing that could be done. There was a famous guy who had like an 80% win ratio because of it, and they eventually balanced it and it was gone. So in that respect, it's very good for them to be there.
And it works very well for developers who constantly provide support and update their games based on the demands of the community. But for games that are unsupported, it becomes is this problem prevalent enough to keep me from having fun? I think most people would agree that Counter-Strike, it's still played at immense rates, but there are so many people who refuse to play it because of the prevalence of cheating or using the op. It ruins it for some people, and that's a shame.
Right.
The question is, do you want to let it ruin it for you? I think it's almost like this whole, well, we can't stop doing this or the terrorists win. It's like, I don't want to just rage quit because then that guy wins. It's not like he's out to get people to rage quit, so I'm not trying to make him be out to be something he's not. But to me, winning is either quitting the server or allowing him to keep doing what he's doing. Frankly, if you're playing game, if you're not having fun, just leave the server. I understand that. And there are some times where I just do that. I kind of pick my battles. But there are some times where I say, no, this guy really pissed me off by something he did. I'm going to pick on him now. And that may make me no better than him. And I open myself up to whatever criticism you guys may want to make. That's just my honor code. I play the game a certain way, and I don't like it when people blatantly violate that. Different honor codes, fine. But when they blatantly violate that bothers me.
Yeah. I think there's a little bit of, too, for me, is that, like, Counter-Strike, I got out of it after a while because it did become Sniper Fest, and I wanted to play a combat experience, and I didn't feel what was happening in the game was realistic combat anymore. It's just these specific rules in this game, and that's how you win, like smoke grenades are useless. There's just all these things. I can't institute another strategy to kind of get around this problem. It's just very closed-minded.
The game doesn't allow you the opportunity to find a way to beat it.
Right. It's because it's just so limited. But we really want to know what...
Yeah, what do you think? Do you think there's an honor code, very specifically as regards to this video, in first-person shooters, when you play against other people in MMOs? Do you think there's an honor code? And if you do you have one? What is it? We'd love to hear from you guys. We, for example, Woodsie apparently just wants to mortar people to death. That's all he does.
It was really fun.
Whereas I I will do whatever I can to try and use what I feel are legitimate tactics to beat a guy. If I can't, then I failed at it, and I just move on. But
Right.
there are times where I just decide, this guy pissed me off, and I want to go after him. May make me vengeful, may make me childish. I don't think so. I think it makes me shepherd. It makes me who I am.
Well, please comment below if you have an opinion, if you have an honor code, or if there's something specific about a game that drives you nuts.
Grinds your gears.
Exactly. And if you like the video, please thumbs it up. Other than that, my name is Woodsie,
My name is Shepard.
and this is the PC Elitist signing out.